Anyway, this episode is extremely exciting.
We got to sit down and talk with the one and only Idina Menzel and her beautiful sister, Cara Mentzel, authors of Loud Mouse and Proud Mouse, a children's book series telling the stories of Dee and Cara Lee, sisters who are finding themselves and supporting each other.
And now you probably already know Idina Menzel from her iconic roles like Elphaba, Maureen, and Elsa. But Cara Mentzel is incredible too, we promise.
We went into this interview fully planning on getting every detail of the book writing process. And while we did talk about the book, we ended up talking about a lot more.
So much more. In the best way, honestly.
Lucky for you, there's no timer this week because we only had a limited time with them. So
it's still kind of a timer.
Here's our interview with Idina and Cara.
So it's safe to say much of our audience knows Idina Menzel from your many, many iconic roles on Broadway and in Hollywood. And we know a little less about Cara Mentzel, Idina's little sister, but you've got your own list of accolades.
You graduated magna cum laude from University of Colorado and later went on to be a national board certified reading teacher, which is no small thing, so still a fucking icon. You've already written a book called Voice Lessons, and that really focuses on growing up with such an astoundingly talented human for a sister. And now together, you have written an equally amazing series for kids.
And we, in my house, we absolutely love it. The first book, it came out last year, Loud Mouse, and it's about a little mouse who found her big voice. That's published from Disney Hyperion. I'm not.
It's all good.
I tried. Okay. I did my research. I did the research. Not great at pronouncing things. Anyway, and this month you are releasing the second in the series, Proud Mouse, How a Little Sister Found Her Own Way with the same publishing house that I will not try to say.
I always say, when I see the emails, I say Hyperion. And I'm like, that's not right.
That's how I was reading it. I was like, something's wrong here.
So do each of you have a favorite of the two?
Oh, that's a good question.
As you'll see, the older sister is bossier and tends to speak over her younger sister sometimes too, which is probably why she's written all of these books. Trying to find her way. And
Proud Mouse is a little bit like Voice Lessons, but for kids.
Yeah. And you said astoundingly talented sister, and I was going to say extremely bossy and annoying older sister. But
we love a self-aware queen. Continue.
It's probably why I like the second book even better, because it is more focused on my sister. I like putting focus on her. I'm a big fan of my sister. She is my quote unquote little baby sister, but she's not. She's I like to say she's the wiser, older soul, I think. And she's also was divorced first. Yes, had kids first.
Yay me.
We love a little big sibling.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't know which one I like best yet, because I feel like I need to read them to crowds of kids and get the vibe. Like it's about that relationship, and until I see like what they respond to. I mean, we've read them to kids like in the editing process. I've had friends and teachers and stuff like that, but until I get to do it more, I think I'm not sure.
And the first book, we did such a big tour, and we have a song that accompanies it that also reprises itself. In the second book, we kind of just take out a different part of it. So it's really quite the performance.
I have to sing a little bit in the second book since it's mine and my refrain. And so I might end up hating this book. We'll see what happens.
I am so excited to hear both of you sing for that. I honestly, when I read these books to my children, I loved that it was so focused on the sibling relationship. And I know you said that you feel like, oh, well, I'm bossy, and that's really what it's about. But I have 3 daughters. And so looking at this dynamic between these sisters who are so different, but just that support they have for each other and what their strengths are and how it goes together, I love seeing that represented, because I think a lot of times the children's books that we read are focused on just the child finding their own empowerment or leaning into mom and dad. And so to see these sisters leaning into each other and supporting each other, just beautiful. Love it.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. That was important to us.
Yeah, I think that, well, first of all, we learned as children's book writers that it's actually, and through our wonderful publisher, Brittany, editor at the publisher. I love that Brittany taught us that that it's important that the kids have the wisdom and the answers for each other sometimes, that they're the ones with the solutions as opposed to the parents always coming in and saving the day.
The parents and the teachers, which, we're big fans of parents and teachers.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely. But like our job as parents is to parent ourselves out of a job, which means teaching them how to rely on not just self-validation, but knowing who they can turn to for support, knowing, my little sister does have my back. And I adore how in both books, at no point in Loudmouth does little sister, Cara Lee, is she ever presented as, oh, I'm so jealous? And even when you get to Proud Mouse, which is a story that focuses on Cara Lee finding herself, finding her own spotlight, it's never that Dee is stealing the spotlight or Cara Lee is jealous of Dee being a loud mouse. There's always this very pure support. There's questions, there's challenges, but it's not a competition among the siblings. And I feel like that's a really common theme in children's literature, is sibling rivalry.
I think one of the messages we send to kids, not just about sibling rivalry, but in general, is like the solution to a lot of problems is to just be yourself. And we had that, it's the just part that kind of bugs me, because we spend our whole lives evolving into who we are, or changing and adjusting. And so we like this idea that we are saying just be who you are, but it can make you uncomfortable. It can make you vulnerable. It can be a process of self-discovery. It doesn't just come to you, So like in Loudmouth, Dee goes off to school and she's bringing this talent and presenting this part of herself for the first time. And then she learns that as great as it makes her feel, she also feels a little complicated, a little vulnerable. And in Loudmouth, Cara Lee goes to school and she's thinking, I'm just going to be me. I'm presenting myself. I'm Cara Lee, And then she's confronted with, you're Dee's little sister. And she's like, wait, what? That's always something I've just been proud of. I didn't realize that was going to complicate things. So she gets to feel uncomfortable in her own right, and then have her own kind of self-discovery. So I think bringing in that piece where there can be discomfort, but that's okay. And also, this idea of being connected and leaning into the sister, and sometimes the very person with whom you feel complicated about.
I loved that. It was when I was reading Proud Mouse with my girls. That was my favorite part of the book to read to my girls, who are close in age. And they have that sort of dynamic where they're all good at different things, and they're kind of figuring out who they are and what part of me is like you and what part of me do I have to be like you. And that part in that story where Cara Lee asked Dee, are you like me? And Dee said, I surely hope so. And that was that little sister saying, are you like me? And the big sister being like, well, I want to be. And I think that is so important, and that kids are really going to resonate, like especially siblings, because that rivalry can be so strong. 10 out of 10.
Thank you. We like that little switch, because the whole time she's like, am I like her? Right? And then at some point she's like, wait a minute.
See, I think Loudmouth was for me as a person. That, even as a grown adult, that story really resonated of what is it to not just know what I'm good at, but to be okay with sharing that with other people, because that's Dee's sort of big, I know what I'm good at, I know what I love, but other people are watching me, and how is this impacting them? How is how they feel making me feel? Like, it's a whole process. So I fully resonated with that. But Proud Mouse, that was for me as a parent, because I'm an only child. I don't have siblings, but I'm raising 3 children. And so to have a brief perspective from people who have been there, done that, how do I, as a parent, what can I expect from my kids when my littles come up? How do I help them? No, you're not just Abby's little siblings. You are your own people, separate from her legacy.
Are you asking us a question? Was that a question? I think that was a question. And I always want to have the caveat of when you ask a question like that might solicit parenting advice, that the best parenting advice I have is that I don't know. I just tried stuff and threw stuff.
That is so relatable.
That's the whole podcast.
That's the whole thing.
For one kid didn't necessarily work for the other, and one moment didn't necessarily work in another moment. So you're really like trying to hit a moving target.
And I'm completely not even totally present with you on this podcast right now because I was reprimanded this morning because I took my son to school instead of being part of a carpool or putting him on the bus.
Oh no. The horror.
Yeah. So I felt the head of middle school was like, you need to email me. We got to get this kid on the bus or in a carpool. I guess because we have all these rules near the school with the parking and everything. And it's like, it's my only time to be with that time with my son, even though he's 14, he doesn't really speak to me anyway. It's my dad. Plus his dad and our schedules are just so all over the place that to try to figure out carpooling with another family, I mean, that would just be abusive to another. So anyway, so that's what my sister's my sort of, because her kids are older. She's an empty nester.
Yeah, my youngest is 21 next week.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
I have the only child. So, yeah, I just had his birthday. Sorry, I'm digressing. I had 7 14-year-old boys sleep over this weekend for Walker's birthday.
You're a hero.
I am.
She's such a hero because then the power went out for like 3 hours.
Oh my God. Just as they were about to get on the PlayStation. They had already been in the pool. They already played basketball. They had already played hide and seek, which I'm so proud when they do things that are not all technologically, involve technology. And then my husband ran to CVS and bought out the 12 flashlights that were there. And I know that the guy said to Aaron, so what's going on here with the flashlights? He's like, dude, I got 8 kids in a sleepover. Got you.
Sleepovers are signing up for chaos when the power's on.
Exactly. Yes.
They'd already resisted the screen time. They finally no, false.
They couldn't even charge their phones. It was like
totally. And also, this isn't what the podcast should be about, but
yes, it should. It absolutely should.
I was in denial because it was still daylight out. And they were in the pool, and I'm thinking, well, the power will come on. We're calling LA whatever water and electricity, and nothing's happening. And then the sun, literally, you can see the sun going down, right?
It's like doom. Like, oh no! We better start.
You've never been more aware of a sunset in your life.
It sure is beautiful. Please, lights, come back.
What's so funny is there are a bunch of 14-year-olds who were like, well, when does the power come back on? And we're like, that's one of the things in life that you don't get to know.
And Cara during COVID, Cara taught a pod for me and 5 other mommy friends and their kids. So Cara,
5th grade. This
5th grade, but she's taught every grade of elementary school, right?
Almost, yes.
Almost. Okay, and she lived in Boulder, Colorado, ever since she left for college, right? I've lived in LA or New York, and when the quarantine happened, all these families started to call Cara and say, can you do like a pod for us, at our homes and get our kids off the screens? And she's calling me and saying, what do you think? I said, you're not doing that for those freaking families in Boulder. You're coming here to LA. Be with me. help me out of this.
That when everything shut down is when I learned I'm not a teacher.
Yeah, exactly.
Great parent. I'm so
Absolutely.
good at parenting. I feel confident in that. Teaching my kids math,
No.
No, it's not for me.
I can teach them how to feel mad and not make it everyone else's problem.
Yeah.
That's easier than teaching them what the TH sound actually makes.
Yeah.
Or looking over them while they're doing their so-called homework or not. We're not listening to the teacher on the virtual and tuning out.
Yes, or they had health class, 5th grade health class.
Well, wait, so you didn't connect the dots. So then I got her out here. We rented her a house nearby with her husband. She and my son became closer than they ever would have because she saw him every day. And she did the most amazing pod with these 5 kids. We got her a nearby house that had a pool and a pool house that we converted into a schoolhouse. And us moms
I insisted they all drop their kids off at the same place every day. So we had like a routine. I didn't want to like be shuttling kids around, and I didn't want the parents there all day. I just wanted like make it school.
Right. So they would do math and then jump in the pool. And then she'd do a science project with them. And then she'd take them to the beach to journal or draw the ocean or go to ice cream or whatever. So they had the most life-saving year, I think. Well, the moms certainly did, but I think the kids did.
My kids played a lot of Minecraft that year.
Yeah. A lot of Minecraft, a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah.
That was
Why was I telling them? I was going somewhere with that for you because
when I was saying that she was a single child and she has three kids. So she's helping them with their dynamics and their sibling relationships. And I think there was a question in there, and then I derailed it that direction.
Oh no!
I got the perfect question to bring us back to the book. Are you ready? Why do we choose mice?
Why mice?
Yeah.
Know the answer to that question. Couple things. Well, one is we like to say that we're pretty good looking mice. So we were like, we didn't want to be a character where we were going to have to be unattractive. No, that's not.
No. So it's why not human. You decide why it's an animal in the first place, because it could just be, you could be yourselves. So we thought of that first.
We like the universal aspect of animals, really relate to animals. We also chose the mouse because we were talking about an animal that's finding her voice, and mice are small and they have small voices. They don't have voices, but we associate them with being quiet, and then this mouse gets to be huge in voice and spirit and size. And it made sense for it to be a mouse. We also I love Despereaux. Little, just a whole bunch of children's literature, mice that we adore. So
I've always had a soft spot for mice in stories because my lovey when I was a small child was Fievel from American Tail.
See, I was excited for the mice because we're a rodent family. We have 4 pet rats. So when we saw the mouse, we were like, "This is perfect, meant to be." Perfect. We love the tail. So.
Yes. I couldn't remember that you have 4 rats in the house. I'm sorry. That's but you're thinking of them as my parents.
No, it's not an infestation unless they get out of the cage.
It's so true.
But we had hamsters. I used to have an ongoing nightmare that the hamster would get out because the hamsters kept eating each other.
Oh my gosh.
When you get hamsters or gerbils,
heads up, parents, if you buy hamsters or gerbils, there is a possible.
We're going to put a disclaimer on the front of this episode. It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Fine.
If one dies and you don't get quick enough, you come home and the other one's already eaten it. It starts.
You might find the head of one of those white hamsters with red eyes.
I have nightmares about this all the time.
It's just parents listening to this podcast, right? Are we?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. For the record, rats don't eat each other.
Don't they?
See, they're so smart. They don't.
Oh my goodness.
You guys took a lot of time to describe the world that Dee and Cara Lee live in. There's the humble anthill, the birch grove. There's a definite connection to nature and the environment as a low-level theme in both stories. Was that imagery taken from your childhood? Were you outside-dwelling children?
Well, it's a bigger part of my adulthood, I would say. But we also, we rode our bikes all the time until we were called in for dinner.
Yeah, I've been doing so much research on it.
When the street lights came on, was that your timer? That was my timer.
I've been looking at so much stuff about Gen X. Are we Gen X?
Oh, that's the question.
Wait, are we Gen X? Yes, I'm 50.
I think so.
Yeah, we're the last.
Yeah, you're Gen X.
We're the last few kids. Yeah. Because of that, I've been researching a lot of that and how we were allowed to babysit the neighbors' kids, and we were 13 years old.
Or less.
Like, who does that? I would never.
I think I was 12.
I would never let Walker babysit somebody else's kids. Right?
We have a great babysitting story where Aviv, remember his name was
yes,
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that now, but we were babysitting together.
Aviv, if you're out there and you're a 47-year-old full man, we're talking about the day that you peed in our faces in your bathroom.
Because we didn't know that you don't sit on the toilet.
We didn't know that you don't put a little boy sitting on the toilet. Yeah.
Because then he just pees outward.
Yeah, but that's because we were 13, babysitting.
We had no idea about penises at that time.
Yeah.
What a time to learn.
Right?
You know, honestly.
Yep. After raising 3 boys, one of them was my stepson, so I don't know about his. But the other 2, I'm fully knowledgeable now. We're all friends. Yep. Proud to say. Proud mouse. Yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I had all daughters, so I'm still not well versed in baby boys, and I'm okay with it. I've heard stories.
I looked at my husband because we have 2 girls and a boy. And I looked at my husband. I was like, potty training is your fucking problem, dude. I don't know what to do with any of those babies.
So cute. My son was like 4, and he stood up in the bathtub and pulled both his like way forward and was like, what? Actually, it was just one. And he's like, what? What's this? And I said, well, it's a there should be another one there too. And he's like, there is. And I was like, what are they for? And I was like, well, one day they help you make babies. And he was like, but now? And I was like, now they just, hang there. And because you mean they're just for show?
That's sure.
Yeah, so I was like, well, don't show them.
Oh, yeah, the conversations you end up having with kids.
There is something magical about a 4-year-old boy's discovery of his own junk, because I have a bathtub story where my son looks down, straight up smacks his junk and was like, Mom, that hurts, and then does it again. I was like, then dude, don't.
Yeah, that's my littlest kiddo. She's 7, and she said, Mom, I know that my body can make babies, but do I have to? Is there a way to not do that? And I was like, no, you don't have to make babies. That's a choice you will make much later in your life. There's plenty. We'll talk about that when the time comes for those options. But no, you don't have to. It's not like a thing that just happens that suddenly there's a baby there, as it turns out.
There's some TikTok video going around right now where the little girl's holding her baby's newborn baby sister, keeps like rooting at her dress. She's going, Mommy, I don't have milk here. I don't have milk. Why is she doing this? I don't have milk. These are my nipples, but I don't have milk coming out of them.
So cute.
Today I learned that Idina Menzel also watches the same stupid shit I do on TikTok.
That's what I watch.
I am totally. You asked us about illustrations though, and I want to say something about
that. They did?
That.
I don't remember.
I think that was a question.
That was our next question, to be fair. Yeah. We asked about the scenery, and we were leading to the illustration. So it's all tied together.
We're asking about
same page.
Nature, and I go straight to so in our childhood, it was there. In fact, one of my first memories is playing in the dirt with my sister, who were pretending to be witches, and then I
said, try this
witches stew, and she fed me the dirt, and I ate it. So maybe that's part of it. But
so she's just been telegraphing her career her entire life, then.
Exactly.
I love it.
I was getting ready for my roles way early on. I was enforcing my sister to eat poison. Is that why your lips are green, by the way, or is that very vain of me to assume presumptuous?
I am now ashamed that you noticed.
You have green behind you and green on And I wasn't sure. I didn't want to be presumptuous. And you're like, no, this is everything.
The green wall is just because I like green, but the green lipstick.
You could be presumptuous. I brought my rent tattoo with me. So like you could be presumptuous.
And Tori definitely put on some Elsa eyeshadow. So
Oh my God. Oh, well, I'm flattered. Thank you.
So sweet. Hey, you guys should know that we have what's it called? A callback to Wicked in our in Loudmouse that she's kind of going above the stage.
She's levitating. She's levitating at the end.
And then in Proud Mouse, what was the one in Proud Mouse? Oh, I know. In Proud Mouse, the jacket to the book is a little bit of a rent thing because they're all standing.
It's either a chorus line or 525,000.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I got the vibe, but I didn't want to be presumptuous because I've just been a lifelong rent head.
Oh.
So I was like, I don't want to just like assume.
Oh, no.
I have never heard Tori make the sound Tori made when our producers were like, hey, would you like to talk to Idina and Cara Mentzel about their book? Because Tori loves Rent.
My kids know all the words to the Rent soundtrack, and that wasn't a choice they made. It's just they hear it so often, like it was like osmosis.
Okay, we're running out of time. We need one more. I want to talk about two things before we've got like 5 minutes. First, Jacqueline Cinquette was your illustrator. She did amazing work. Was this something that you were able to collab ahead of, or did she just purely understand the assignment?
Both things are true. There were sometimes when you write a children's book, you can write like detailed what you want the image to be because they have to relate. There are some things that the illustration is better at conveying, and there are some things that the text is. So we kind of have to play that game a little bit. But then there were definitely times when it's like, go with it, whatever you see, or
and we just knew we wanted beautiful painterly images, but also really funny and also the kind that's very overly detailed so when you've read a book 12 million times, there's always something to like, oh, I never noticed the little lifeguard frog. It was wearing goggles,
What I loved about these books especially is because not only is the stories just incredible, but these are my favorite types of books to read with my kids because we're reading the words on the page. And then we are looking at everything on the page and noticing everything we can in the images before we turn the page. Mm-hmm. And so it's like it turns from just reading them a story to real family time where we're like, oh, what do you see that? What do you think of that drawing? What do you think of that? And it just, it builds the whole world. I love it.
Yeah, we have enormous gratitude to Jacqueline. Yeah, that she had she knew our vision and our humor, and
although she would have been nowhere without our napkin drawings of our own clothes that we made, because we are on both sides of our family. Our grandparents are like they're sign painters, really
sign painters, but yeah.
So we've always sort of
Grandpa Nat was an artist. He did.
Grandpa Nat was an artist. Yeah. So we kind of can draw and paint, and so we're like, this is what we think we should look like as mice.
I'm gonna need to see those napkin drawings.
we need to see that.
Ever wish you had visibly thicker hair? How about less shedding? Maybe stress is causing your hair to thin, or is it the other way around? Nutrafol knows that to address any of these problems, you have to address all of them. Their whole body wellness approach with their medical grade supplements can help you feel better and look better in that order. Go to Nutrafol.com to take their hair health wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair growth through whole body wellness. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting root causes of thinning, stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, and metabolism through whole body health. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after 6 months. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code Childproof. Find out why over 3,500 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code Childproof. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code Childproof.
Working out is tough, and finding a workout program that sticks is even tougher. Usually, if I have 20 minutes, I'm like, nah, why work out? But with Peloton, they have so many classes and it's so easy to just turn on the app and start working out. You probably know Peloton is the people who make bikes, but they also make Peloton Tread, Peloton Rower, and even the Peloton app, which you can now access for free. It's got classes like yoga, strength training, HIIT cardio, and boxing that can be done wherever, whenever. In fact, you'll be craving your workouts. Trust me, I do. Whether you have 5 minutes or 20 minutes, there's a workout for you. You can strength train, run, walk, row, or choose from another one of their 12 plus disciplines and 85 plus class types, depending on your needs. And if all this sounds like it's got to be beyond your price point, remember the app is free. Not to mention, it's the best value in fitness because people actually stick with the workouts once they try them. Ready to give it a try? Get started and download the free Peloton app today. Peloton app available through free tier or paid subscription. Paid memberships start at $12.99 per month.
Last question, and it is about the song. You wrote that with Laura Veltz. Obviously, you worked with her again on Make Me Hate Me. So you liked working with her. You have now created 2 anthems of children across the globe because you're fucking Elsa. Also, Loudmouth.
Dina, welcome to my world. You are understanding your demographic, that you are a woman with needs, that needs to curse sometimes, that probably has sex with your partner, that also takes care of little children, but has a life and has a truck driver's mouth, apparently, like me. And
my screen handle, the name that I have built my entire brand on is Mama Cusses.
Mama Cusses. I love it.
That's my whole
I
thing.
love it. Well, it's my problem is being on stage and looking out into a sea of blue dresses, and then moms, and then like Tory moms who like grew up with me through Rent, but now have kids, so they're cool with me. But then the other moms that didn't know me before and just want me to sing songs to the little blue dresses, and then the whole gay contingency. Male contingency, female. It's like so I got to figure out how to navigate it all to all my people.
Next time you just gotta sing Over the Moon to them. Talk to them about Diet Coke. You're good.
I know.
Every mom wants that. Yeah.
If you're still here with me at the end of this piece, and my tits are still somehow in my shirt, we are each other's people.
But her ass won't be.
Right? My ass won't. Oh, that's so funny.
Oh man.
What was the question?
But the song is great. The song is great. We're getting to the song. We're getting to the question. My kids love the song. It's on the playlist already.
Oh, yeah, we just knew that the character obviously had to sing, and it was another part of children's books that we loved. And Cara I'm speaking.
Having a recurring refrain is a nice access point for kids,
especially she's the literacy specialist, so she knows that.
Especially if they're early readers, they like being able to read a part that they're just have memorized.
I'm not stupid. When someone says you're going to do a children's book, Idina, I do it with my sister, who is not just like my best friend, but she's a teacher, and not only a teacher, but a literacy specialist.
I loved that in Loudmouth, how we're talking about how the teacher likes big words and this other teacher likes small words, and how I loved the emphasis on that, because there's so many ways you can read this book and have different conversations with the kids. I love it. And the song, I love how that takes place through both. I love that it is connected, but totally separate. I tried to read the book before I read the song personally, and I did not sing it the right way. I learned. My kids did give me a hard time.
That's what I worry about. I don't want parents to feel intimidated by my, what did you say in the beginning? Astounding talent or something? I don't want people to feel that way. You should be able to sing that song however you want. And it does.
I always sing it silly.
Yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I did the same thing and had the opposite reaction. I sang the song that I thought, the one that played in my head as I sang it, and then we turned on your version, and she looks at me and she goes, "Mom, she did it wrong."
Perfect.
I was like, bold judgment. I'll tell her.
No, I love it, because in fact, when we were doing our fight, I was like, but you have to make it accessible, because teachers and parents are going to have to do it over and over again.
Exactly. And then to bring this all full circle. Art is imitating life because just putting Cara's shit out there, like this whole whole thing, when we go out and talk about this and then sit in front of young audiences at bookstores and schools, which we're loving to do. We're reading our book together, we're singing through it. And Cara is sort of is trying not to project a lot of the stuff that she's grown up, the stuff we've actually written about, trying to really find where we stand next to with one another and then aside and then on our own, and so tell them what you've taken up.
So I decided to take up the ukulele this year because I thought it's supposed to be relatively easy, and I just kind of always saw myself as a teacher with an instrument. I should figure it out. And also I wanted to be able to express myself in music while we play.
Without feeling like she's got to keep up with me going like, la, 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 la. I'm going to play the ukulele.
So I'm like 49 and I just picked up this new thing and now we have to play.
And now she's terrified to do that because she's brand new. So
and
she's
giving us now I have to sing and play the ukulele.
And read the lines.
My sister is like giving me line readings and saying that she's going to sing harmony now. So not only do I have to keep track of my own thing, but now there's harmony happening. So if we need an example of somebody who's going to just do it and it's going to come out any which way, I'm going to be that example.
She's the guinea pig. And there are no guinea pigs.
Idina, you just got to get her some in-ears and then it's all fixed.
It's just turning into a whole stage production. I'm here for it.
Yeah, we have a ukulele roadie coming with us. And
yes.
No, I'm kidding. We don't.
I volunteer. Can I be the ukulele roadie?
Yeah, I'll carry it. It's fine.
Oh my gosh. It doesn't weigh anything. When I give it to the stewardess, what do you call it? Flight attendant? The flight attendant, she's like, there's nothing in here. No, it's in there.
Yeah, it just weighs like half a pound. It's fine. Yeah.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. I did not expect this podcast to go any of the places it has been. I love it.
I'm happy it did. It has been so nice to speak with you.
You guys make it so easy. You're so good at what you do.
Yes.
Thank you.
I just thought that you loved shiny makeup. So I love that my sister picked up on it because I was like, gosh, they're so cool. They just got the shiny lipstick.
No, it's about me.
Look, before Elsa and I missed the Maureen boat, you were my Elphaba, so
I'm bringing my kids to see Wicked for the first time next month.
Yay.
So very exciting.
Well, thank you guys so much. We will not take up any more of your valuable time. Cara, you need to go practice that ukulele.
My husband is so sick of it.
No, it's sexy. She lets her hair go down. It's like Lady Godiva, and she like.
Oh, that's amazing.
Thank you. We'll come on anytime, and thanks for having us. It was an honor.
Thank you so much for being here.
Bye.